From Normal Community High School in Normal, Illinois, Clutch Sports Media is proud to present continued coverage of the Big 12 Boys Basketball Tournament. Coming up next, the nightcap in what has been a triple header here at the NCHS Small Gym. It's the 1-10 Urbana Tigers taking on the host Normal Community Ironmen. They enter this one 6-4 in Big 12 conference play. Joey Wright, John Camosa, and the entire Clutch Sports Media team happy to be in with you this evening. And John, we'll start with Urbana's record, 1-10. You think maybe coming in that Normal Community has the upper hand, but that one win came last night. The Tigers knocked off Danville, a 64-63 thriller at Danville High School. So the Tigers come in hot. We talked with Normal Community head coach Dave Witzig before this one, though, and he feels confident too.
Yeah, going back to that Urbana win, a close game over Danville, and Verdell Jones said they missed a lot of free throws in that game, so it could have been even more lopsided for Urbana. And we saw that Danville team play, and it's a very good team, so that's a big win for Urbana, and I think that momentum kind of shifts over to tonight. Playing the host Normal Community Ironmen, but a lot of weapons on this team. You got Zach Cleveland, the 6'7" junior forward that really stands out for the Ironmen, and the man in the middle, getting a lot of Division I looks.
He certainly is. We'll talk a lot about Zach Cleveland for Normal Community this evening. For Urbana, Normal Community head coach Dave Witzig was really high on Jermail Young, the Tigers' star senior. Scored 17 last night against Danville, but Dave Witzig said he assisted on so many more points, and that's what the Ironmen are most concerned about with him.
Yeah, and he's a kind of a do-it-all player, and it's one guy they want to limit his touches, but even when he was contested yesterday against Danville and being double-teamed, he's still finding a way to score. That's the type of player that's not really fazed by the pressure and just kind of plays his way through it. If you're Normal Community, you got to feel a little comfortable in your home gym, not necessarily your home gym that you play in, but one of your gyms in your school, but you have that home feel.
You certainly do. It's a road trip for Urbana, and Normal Community gets to roll in. You know, they get to go home, have a nice after-school snack, and come back and get ready to play basketball. We'll talk about why we are in the small gym here as the evening moves along, but first we'll get you our starting lineups. You see the Normal Community Ironmen just fresh off being introduced. We'll get your Urbana's lineup first. It'll be freshman Malcolm Morris, number 1 for the Tigers. A lot of people excited to see him this evening, joined by Jermail Young, Jermontre Young, Gideon Kapongo, and Jeremiah Hamilton is the man in the middle for Urbana. For Normal Community, we talk about their man in the middle, Zach Cleveland, 6'7" junior forward. Tyler Dwinall, Justin Potts, Trey Red, and Robert Brent round out a Normal Community lineup that can shoot the ball pretty well. They'll play through Cleveland, but watch the perimeter for them this evening. It's Urbana with the first crack of the evening. They win the figurative tip-off, and we are underway. Glad you're with us. It's Jermail Young kicking it off for the Tigers, and he looks and he finds Malcolm Morris. And it's Jeremiah Hamilton with a free throw to start us off.
Obviously, that's the start you want if you're Verdell Jones. Quick basket. First one goes to the Urbana Tigers. See what Normal can do on their possession.
Tigers strike first. They entered the Big 12 tournament as the lowest seed. Normal Community, the 3 seed. Community working it with Cleveland. Now Cleveland looks over for Red. And Red down to Tyler Dwinall, and there's a pass intended for Zach Cleveland and a foul, the first one of the evening. And that'll go against Hamilton, who scored the Tigers' first basket.
And Joey, a lot of energy on that Urbana bench. We saw that a lot with Champaign Central in their game. And you can tell the Tigers are fired up. Records go out the door in postseason tournament. It's a fresh start for Urbana. We'd say they're 1-0 right now.
That's right. And Normal Community in its first game of the Big 12 tournament. They did not play yesterday in the play-in round. It's Dwinall the rebound. He goes up, can't knock it in, but knocks it out to Trey Red. And Red goes over to Robert Brent. And the Ironmen, a young team, as is Urbana, still looking to get on the board for the first time this evening.
And on that touchdown there, Dwinall, after the season ends Saturday, or, you know, depending on how many games they play here, he'll be on the gridiron playing football. Dave Witzig said he's a very good football player out there for the Ironmen.
Plays tight end for Normal Community, and John, we saw him in warm-ups. Looks like a tight end and kind of plays basketball like a tight end is what Dave Witzig told us, so keep an eye on him, see if he can score on the hardwood. Scoring on the hardwood there, though, is Zach Cleveland, and Zach Cleveland talking about him, has a lot of interest from some pretty good mid-major programs, even a couple of those high-major programs starting to notice Cleveland. He's still a junior for these Normal Community Ironmen, and we'll have a backcourt violation there. Jermail Young tried to chase it for the Tigers, but didn't quite get there in time.
Yeah, and going back to Cleveland, you say getting interest from Belmont, North Dakota State. ISU took a look at him. I believe his sister is a 6'4" volleyball player, All-American at Purdue. Matt Painter was in the gym to see him once.
Might as well take a look, right? Drake is also in that conversation.
Only a junior, so definitely got time to even open his radar for more schools.
Reads like a list of teams you may see in the upcoming NCAA tournament. Program's taking a look at Cleveland. Cleveland is fouled there. Pardon me, that was Dwinall that was fouled.
Great pass from Cleveland there.
Dwinall will head to the line. Dwinall's first free throw on the way and off the mark. Now, we've mentioned our conversation with Dave Witzig, John. We also talked with Urbana head coach Verdell Jones, and appreciate the time both coaches showed us leading up to this one. And Dwinall takes his second free throw, knocks that one in. Verdell Jones told us a young team, and they've been learning all season. It's some little things that have hurt them as the season's gone along, but those things are starting to click. And Jermontre Young clicks in the three.
Yeah, and with this abbreviated season, only having 11 games now, but doesn't give you a whole time to fix some mistakes. And they're learning and, put everything together. Verdell Jones said he really liked what he was seeing in practice and finally put all those puzzle pieces together and ultimately got him that big win against Danville.
Key in that one, as we said, was Jermail Young, but Malcolm Morris is a player that a lot of people are very high on, and Jeremiah Hamilton as well. Hamilton can be a force down low, and he tipped that pass. Community kicks it out, a three on the way from Robert Brent off, but Robert Dwinall has had a great game on the glass, and he ties us up at 5. 3 points now for Dwinall, the junior. He is a 6'5" center and using all 6'5". It's Young pulling up just inside the free throw line. Urbana has had a lot of success from that part of the floor tonight. And count it for Young. Urbana back to the point. John, kind of that close game early on that Urbana needed. We've been talking, and we think if Urbana can keep it close late, they'll have a chance. Normal Community's played a lot of games this season that have gone right down to the buzzer.
Yeah, and you can see Urbana's fired up, and this is what they wanted to see to start this game, is be in this position and have this early lead. But if you're Normal Community, you're battling right back with them, and it's a back and forth game.
Certainly is, and we'll take this timeout, the first masked timeout of the game, to remind you that tonight's coverage is brought to you by Uftring Nissan on Allen Road in Peoria. Test drive the latest exciting Nissan products, including the all-new 2021 Rogue and Sentra, plus save time and buy your car 100% online. Visit UftringNissan.net today. Tonight's coverage also brought to you by Uftring Weston Chevy Cadillac in Peoria. From the iconic Silverado and Blazer to the luxurious Cadillac XT4 and Escalade, Uftring Weston offers world-class sales and service right here in Peoria. Visit UfteringWeston.com today. And by Jaguar Land Rover Peoria on Allen Road. Take advantage of courtesy car specials and drive home a Jaguar or Land Rover for less than you might think. Jaguar Land Rover Peoria.com, I should say. Glad to have Uftring on board with us this evening, though, and throughout the season, helping to get our free live coverage of the Big 12 tournament and high school sports all across Central Illinois to you for free. Urbana out of the timeout. It's Jermail Young taking it up. We've mentioned Jermail Young's 17-point effort against Danville last night. A longtime part of the Urbana program, even dating back to middle school. Urbana Middle School has had some very talented teams over the years. When Young graduates, of course, his brother Jermontre Young is a junior, so there will still be a Young on the roster next season, but it'll feel just a little bit different when you have a player that has been a part of the community for so long, step away and move on to the next chapter.
Sure, Verdell Jones is looking forward to that young talent that's going to emerge from Urbana.
Certainly is. It's Young taking it up, Jermail that is. And both programs benefit from that. Zach Cleveland has a brother who is a freshman in the Normal Community program. Good to see the pipeline continuing on. Jermail with 2 points to this point for Urbana. Jermontre Young with a big 3 earlier. Both teams trading baskets early on. It's Kapongo for Urbana. He's guarded by Trey Red. Stepping back for the 3 and a normal rebound.
Joey, we've seen 2 really good games so far in this triple header, and this one right now shaping up to be a good one early on.
If you are just joining us on ClutchSportsIL.com, you saw, or you didn't see, Centennial knock off Peoria Notre Dame in the first game. That game started at 4. Top-seeded Irish fell to the Chargers, and then in our last game, it was a big 45-43 win for the for the Champaign Central Maroons over the Peoria Rams, and that was a big loss for the Manual Rams. But
yeah,
a great game.
Larry and I called that one and talked about that 4 or 5 seed matchup could go either way, and Central had the upper hand in that one. They were firing on all cylinders from behind the arc.
And you can tell, especially when you have a tournament like this, the only difference in that 4-5 matchup is often which team's going to wear white and which team's going to break out the road uniforms. Central hits the road a winner as Normal Community lays it in. Credit that one to Zach Cleveland. So Cleveland is up to 4 points on the evening.
Good up and undertake there from Cleveland. Very smooth around the rim.
Last basket for Urbana was from Morris. Young pulling up, doesn't have that one. And Dwight all hauls in the board. So the Ironmen will take it ahead, and that's Trey Red running the show. Dave Witzig was very high on the abilities of Trey Red, and Red a nice find to Cleveland. 6 points for Cleveland and a tied-up ball game.
Been doing a lot for the Ironmen early on, as you'd expect. Talked to Coach Verdell Jones, kind of said, what's the key to contain him? He said, just try your best.
do what you can.
Hard to do.
Up top is Brent. They were trying to go down to Cleveland. They do their best there, and Tigers rewarded with a turnover. It's Kapongo, and it's Hamilton. Hamilton deep 2 off, and Cleveland the rebound. Jeremiah Hamilton is 6'7" for the Tigers, John, and we'll hold that thought as Normal Community wants a 3, and Justin Potts converts. He's 6'7". We've seen him do a lot from the mid-range this evening. We'll see how the Tigers react now as Normal Community takes its first lead of the ball game.
Yeah, Hamilton, big-time shot blocker, too, for the Urbana Tigers. See if he can use that presence inside to disrupt Cleveland and Dwinell.
It's Cleveland, though, that disrupts Malcolm Morris. Sets up an end. Popping and dropping it in is Trey Red. And just like that, the Ironmen have a 5-point lead, their largest of the evening.
Urbana got going early and had that lead, but Normal Community coming right back and taking a lead of their own here at home.
See how long they can hold it. A very good Normal Community team, and you got to figure that they like being in the driver's seat now. They bring in a couple of substitutions. First substitutions we've seen this evening. Jackson Jones is in along with Peyton Weimer, and we'll get you the other one in just a second. Looks to me like that's Crofton Perry, and it is. It's Morris for Urbana. Now to Kapongo. And Morris going to work on Cleveland. Cleveland will win that battle. And Kapongo can't quite win the war. So Normal Community will bring it ahead. Looks like they can hold for the final possession of the quarter. They'll move a little early. A 3 is on the way and off. Tigers control it. 3, 2, 1 in the hands of Young on the way, just off. And that's how the first quarter will end, with Normal Community ahead by 5.
Good first quarter there, back and forth. Normal Community just cut into the lead a little bit there and then took it over on their own. But a lot of production out of Zach Cleveland for the Ironmen.
Cleveland with 6 as we enter the second quarter. And before we enter the second quarter, we'll take this break to remind you that tonight's coverage is brought to you by Oftring Nissan on Allen Road in Peoria. Test drive the latest exciting Nissan products, including the all-new 2021 Rogue and Sentra. Plus, save time and buy your car 100% online. Visit OfteringNissan.net today. Tonight's coverage also brought to you by Oftring Weston Chevy Cadillac in Peoria. From the iconic Silverado and Blazer to the luxurious Cadillac XT4 and Escalade. Uftring Weston offers world-class sales and service right here in Peoria. Visit UfteringWeston.com today. And by Jaguar Land Rover Peoria on Allen Road. Take advantage of courtesy car specials and drive home a Jaguar or Land Rover for less than you might think. Jaguar Land Rover Peoria.com. And of course, we are here in Normal this evening, Normal Community High School, the small gym at NCHS, playing host to the nightcap, the Clutch Sports Media triple header, Big 12 tournament, halfway through, and we're over and done this evening. And what a tournament it's been so far.
Oh, it's been a great tournament. A lot of upsets. But you get that postseason March feel, and it's nice to just have something that feels somewhat like a postseason tournament.
This is March. John Rothstein, it spreads. Normal Community, first possession here, extended. It's Red feeding down low to Jackson Jones. Back up to Red. And the junior guard will slow it down. Red has yet to score for the Ironmen, but he's played every minute thus far. Been a big part of the offense. In the corner is Jones, double teamed as you see, and that's going to force a travel, so the Urbana defense steps up in the first possession of the second frame.
And that's Jamal Young there, and so much production out of him last night doing it all in that Danville game, and right there helping double up and force a turnover there, and chance for Urbana to cut this to 3 potentially.
We'll see how they play it. A foul called there. That's only the 3rd foul this evening, and the first against Normal Community. Urbana has the other 2. Montre Young who brought it up, and he was fouled, and he gets the inbound pass to start this next possession off. Young gets a screen, and they'll go to the corner. Guarded by Crofton Perry is Jermel Young. Nice pass over his head, and Hamilton will be a little bit short on the shot, but you like that play design from the Tigers.
Yeah, it was a nice look there, and nice perimeter jump shot opportunity, just fell a little short. But you want to play for those types of looks.
Their nice look from Cleveland, turns around and drops that one in. It's a 16-9 game. 7-point lead, the largest for the Ironmen this evening. Tigers trying to hurry it up with Morris. Morris to Tremontre Young. Young wanted the 3, but Trey Red politely wanted him not to take that 3. Young breaks free. Ironmen force the steal, though, and bringing it ahead is Jackson Jones. Jones back to Red, and Normal Community will slow it down. See if they go back to Zach Cleveland here, John. He has 8 points.
Yeah, he's been the hot hand for sure. And honestly, right now, the Urbana Tigers don't have an answer for him. They talked with Verdell Jones, like we mentioned, said got to try to contain him, and it's a tall task. I don't think they really have anybody they could throw on him that's going to slow him down at the moment.
Jeremiah Hamilton doing his best. 3 on the way and in. Dropping it in is Jackson Jones. Jones has a 3, and Urbana has a timeout. First called timeout of the game, and it will be a full break.
Big 3 there from Jones, extending that lead even more. And a lot of juniors on this Normal Community roster. A lot of returning talent next year for Dave Witzig's bunch.
John, it was a similar mentality, I think, for both head coaches. We talked with both of them before the game, of course, and they said that both teams are very young. They're getting a lot of guys in, kind of working them for next season. Of course, the Big 12 tournament, sought after. A lot of teams are getting up for it, and a lot of teams want to win this title. But I think most important over the course of the season has been getting the young guys some experience, and Normal Community especially. A ton of juniors. They have one senior in Justin Potts, who is a big part of the team, but other than that, they don't have any other senior. They have Jacob Jansen as a senior, pardon me, but other than that, no other seniors. And Urbana has, of course, a senior in Jermel Young, a senior in Deshaun Sanders and Sheldon Turner, the latter 2 of which we haven't seen tonight, but a very young team.
Yeah, and losing Jermel Young after this season, it's going to be a tough guy to, or tough shoes to fill, I should say, but next man up, so you can kind of take over as that role player. He's their do-it-all player for sure.
Jeremiah Hamilton, also a senior for the Tigers, too, 44 in black. a senior that they'll miss next season, but a young program indeed. Tigers looking to cut into a 10-point deficit. Taking it all the way was Jermontre Young. The shot waved off. Foul on the floor. And that'll be a blocking foul, the third foul against Normal Community this evening, so the Tigers won't benefit from the bonus just yet. Jermail Young will trigger it. See the time at the bottom of your screen. We're just under 6 minutes left in the second quarter. Glad you're with us on ClutchSportsIL.com. Joey Wright, John Camosa, Larry Larson, Francisco Alonso, Matt Harrington, John Michael, and Josh Schwam back in our Peoria studio. Full crew tonight, with the exception of Evan Johnson, who's helped us out a lot this season. Jermail Young, right on cue. And it is an 8-point game.
The basket that Urbana was looking for, needed that one. Trying to see if they can get a stop here on this end.
Young now with 4 points on the evening. If you're just joining us, Zach Cleveland has been the star of the show for the Ironmen, leads with 8. It's in the hands right now of Jackson Jones. Jones to Cleveland, Peyton Weimer. And Weimer has his first points of the evening. It's back to 10.
Got a lot of bigs on this team that can shoot it from the perimeter. Weimer showing that touch, and tough to defend there, Joey.
Jermontre Young converted on a 3 early in the game for Urbana. Was off on that one. It hit the top of the iron. And that'll take us to our second quarter mask timeout. We'll recap the action for you, but first a quick word for tonight's sponsor. It's Upstring Nissan on Allen Road in Peoria. Test drive the latest exciting Nissan products, including the all-new 2021 Rogue and Sentra. Plus, save time and buy your car 100% online. Visit UpstringNissan.net today. Also brought to you tonight by Uftring Weston Chevy Cadillac in Peoria. From the iconic Silverado and Blazer to the luxurious Cadillac XT4 and Escalade, Uftring Weston offers world-class sales and service right here in Peoria. Visit UpstringWeston.com today. And by Jaguar Land Rover Peoria on Allen Road. Take advantage of courtesy car specials and drive home a Jaguar or Land Rover for less than you might think. Jaguar Land Rover Peoria.com. Joey Wright, John Camosa, the entire Clutch Sports Media team in with you. And John, as we recap the action, Urbana got out to a hot start, I think is a fair way to term it, but not an overly hot start. Normal Community kept up with them in the early going, and the Ironmen now with a 10-point lead.
Yeah, and we talked about this being that postseason game, but it's nice to play it in your home gym. In Normal Community, didn't seem to shy away from being down early, and went back and forth with Urbana, and now pulled away for a big lead on their end.
See what the Ironmen do here out of the break. Uniform matchup, of course, the Ironmen in white and the Tigers in black. In the hands of Peyton Weimer, and Weimer looks up to Justin Potts. Potts is guarded by Gideon Kapongo, and Potts will dish it off to Crofton Perry. Swinging it around now, and it's back in the hands of Jackson Jones. Jones back now to Justin Potts. It's Cleveland working it. Potts wants a 3, would be his second of the game, and it's just off the mark. Tigers haul it in and quickly run it. Jermontre Young wanted the 3, didn't take it. Hamilton wanted that mid-range shot. He's taken that a couple of times this evening. And Jermail Young will slow it down. Sends it in motion, splits the defense. But that Normal Community defense has been really strong, John, in this second quarter.
Yeah, it certainly has, especially down low with Zach Cleveland and Tyler Dwinell when he was in the game. Now Peyton Weimer kind of filling that void, but having a tough time getting inside for Urbana right now.
Floater won't fall from Young. The only teardropper there, tears after the missed shot, and the Ironmen on offense work it down to Cleveland. And Cleveland is fouled. Should be free throws coming up for the 6'7" junior. Cleveland will chase his ninth and 10th points on the evening, and the Ironmen will bring in a couple of subs. Robert Brent will come back in, and Tyler Dwinell will come back in as well. They'll come in right now after the missed free throw.
New face for the Tigers, Layden Daniels.
Indeed, Layden Daniels, a junior, a 6'5" junior at that. You'll see a lot of height from number 24 in black. Cleveland gets the second to fall. He has 9 in the lead, squarely in double digits.
See if Urbana can get something going here, but right now this Normal Community defense been really good. Just haven't given them any window at an opportunity to score.
It's been a stifling quarter for this Normal Community defense. Tigers have scored just once. The Ironmen scored a couple of times. It's only the run is only 8-2, John, but I think it feels a little bit bigger than that.
It does, certainly does, and Normal Community is just kind of doing their thing on the defensive end, and then getting a lot of production inside from their bigs. But Joey, ultimately, if they can keep this up, Normal Community looks to be the favorite at home.
It is a 22-11 lead. Glad you're with us. If you're just joining us or if you've been with us all evening, Joey Wright and John Camosa in with you. John, what's the medicine here for Urbana out of the timeout?
Try to get something inside, but that'll do.
Every time I ask the question, right?
It's usually every single time. It happened the last 2 games with Larry and I give it the old CSM jinx.
A good jinx for the Tigers. Jermel Young is up to 5 points on the evening. They can probably hear us. No spectators here in the small gym at NCHS this evening.
But Joey, to answer your question, I think Young is the medicine. He was so big yesterday, and we're going to need production out of him even more so tonight.
The Ironmen getting production out of Justin Potts, his second 3 of the evening. Up to 6 points is Potts. One of 2 seniors on the Normal team. Jermel Young wants to answer. Can't quite do it in the rebound. Morris. And Normal looks like they fouled him on his way down. And watching that, I think Urbana's a little lucky that wasn't a travel or a turnover there.
Almost seemed like it, but referee saw it different. Urbana chance to get a bucket here.
And they will do just that. Jermel Young answers the call. 7 points for him. And the Normal Community lead is back to single digits as we go under 2 minutes to play in the first half. Now it's Cleveland just inside the charity stripe, off the mark. John Camosa, big chance for the Tigers to build some momentum. It's Kapongo.
Certainly is, and I think they're picking it up on the scoring end. You just got to go back and play the defense as well, and I think if they can put that together, it'll be a closer game.
See if they can connect. Kapongo to trigger the possession. Inbounded to Jermel Young, right to John Camosa. He catches the foul ball and has to throw it back, unfortunately.
Thought I was going to have a chance to shoot it tonight.
Lace him up. Step on out there. Kapongo again will inbound. And the Tigers maybe caught a little bit of a break there. Looked like it could have gone either way, whether that was off of Community or Young. And that'll be an offensive foul against Young, so if it was Jermel Young who touched it last, the Ironmen catch the break.
Yeah.
Got to be careful because the officials can probably hear us too.
Larry mentioned sign that ball. You think we could put it in the trophy case, date it, 3/11. Triple header for Clutch Sports
That's
Media.
right. We have a state championship caliber roster here on the floor at NCHS. I'm Joey Wright with John Camosa, Larry Larson, Francisco Alonso, Matt Harrington, and John Michael. And Josh Schwam is back in Peoria with us this evening. What is that, 7 or 8 people we have?
Yeah, and even when Josh isn't at the games, very productive for us.
Certainly is. Not quite as productive was that 3 from Justin Potts. His total will stay at 6 points as Jermel Young pushes, presses, and a foul on the floor as he took it up. And as we look at the foul total, that ought to be the 5th against Normal Community, and it will be. So both teams with 5 fouls, bonuses approaching. We'll see if we get there in the last 70 seconds.
And Joey, credit to Young, 6'1" guard going up against the trees down there, not afraid to drive it in. Had a couple nice finishes, almost had one go there.
That's what you need from your senior leader. And that's especially nice to see as a guard, as Young is. Couldn't quite get the screen there. Dwinall was right there, but he will attack the basket. And he gets it to go. And the foul. So an and one for Jermel Young.
If you're Verdell Jones, you got to love a player who's not shy at attacking the basket. See some guys maybe, you know, like to stick to the three or shoot the perimeter shots, but man, he slashes and gets inside.
And he gets the free throw to fall.
And just like that, Joey, 25-19.
Timeout called by Normal Community. Pardon me, that'll be an Urbana timeout as Larry Larson points off, just off to my left. What do you make of that timeout from Urbana? Because now the Tigers have mounted a little bit of a run. They didn't have a lot going in the first part of the quarter, but as the quarter closes, they have some momentum. Are they trying to lock it in?
I think with that timeout there, so like I mentioned a little bit ago, they're starting to click on the offensive end. Now they just want to get those stops on defense. I think that timeout's good to, you know, kind of figure out your matchups and a chance to limit touches from Cleveland and Potts and so many talented players on this Normal Community roster, but I think they just want to figure out that defense and really put everything together.
5 Ironmen have scored. Zach Cleveland leads that bunch, but Justin Potts, as you mentioned, has come alive last couple of minutes. Knocked in a 3 a moment ago. Peyton Weimer, Dwinall, and Jackson Jones have also scored for Normal Community. Working it down low, popping it back up top. Red a couple steps in, and he traveled as he brought it in. So now, John, an interesting question. Tigers have just under 37 seconds. Do they attack? Do they keep pressing, keep that aggression high? Or do they look at maybe holding it for that last possession? And I recognize there's still a significant amount of time left.
It's tough to tell because Urbana likes to attack pretty quick off their sets. You know, they're attacking the basket. With 36.9, I'd like to think they're still going to attack and not play for the last shot. So we'll see, though.
It is, and you know, we ask that question a lot, but it is still a lot of time here. 25 seconds left, although Jermel Young does not look like he's in a big hurry to start the offense against Crofton Perry. They switch, he gets a screen, and a charge there, an offensive foul called against Young. His second offensive foul of the game and of the quarter.
So now you're in a difficult situation. You give Urbana that last chance at a bucket here.
The second foul total against Young. You figure he's probably not in foul trouble quite yet, but in any case, the Ironmen with a chance to end the half strong. Trying to increase a 7-point lead. It's Red. Red looks over for Jones. Back to Red. Under 5. Red stepping up, dropping it down. Tigers have to inbound quickly. Young, a shot that won't count, is off the glass. And that's how our first half of action will end. An 8-point lead for Normal Community, John, but a game that at times played closer than that and at times felt like a lot bigger lead for Normal Community.
Yeah, and can't be too happy with your Verdell Jones with that turnover there from Young. Kind of a mental mistake and gives Normal Community a chance to extend that lead, which they do. We'll see if Urbana to bring that same energy in the second half, and I think Normal Community kind of keep playing the game they've been playing, but good first half overall.
It was a very good first half indeed, and if you are just joining us, we'll step away here in a moment. Before we do, the game started, you know, I said earlier Urbana started hot. They didn't start overly hot, but they definitely had a nice start, got out to kind of an early lead, and led for a lot of that first quarter, albeit a very slim lead. And then a great start to the second quarter, John, for Normal Community. Built an 11-point lead, I think was the largest it was. Maybe it got to 12 or 13, but no more than that. And then Urbana chipped in, but Normal Community was able to finish, I think, just a little bit stronger.
Yeah, and, you know, expect to see most of the same out of Normal Community, getting Trey Red inside and Tyler Dwinell and Zach Cleveland, but you know, we're going to see a lot of Jermel Young in the second half as well. He's kind of their do-it-all player for Urbana.
He certainly is. Before we step away, we'll give you scoring totals, and these statistics are unofficial, but I think we've got them pretty close. The leading scorer for Urbana right now is Jermel Young. He has, if I total those up right, 8 points, 2 twos, a 3, and a free throw. Leading scorer for Normal Community, no surprise, is Zach Cleveland. He has 9 points on 4 2-pointers from the field and 1 of 2 at the charity stripe. But Justin Potts close behind with 2 threes.
Yeah, and kind of as you would expect, Cleveland and Young, the leading scorers. See if some other guys kind of get in the mix here and take over in the second half. I think Urbana's going to want production out of some other guys too, maybe Jeremiah Hamilton, and see what they can get going there on the offensive end as well.
We'll see what happens. You can count down to the second half. You see that countdown on the bottom of your screen. It's just over 8 minutes right now. We'll turn our mics down, take a quick breather, but we'll be back in a couple of minutes. We'll verify that our statistics are correct. Again, we think they're pretty close, if not exact, and we'll be back for the second half in a couple of minutes. Clutch Sports Media, proud to continue live coverage of the 2021 Big 12 Boys Basketball Tournament. It is Normal Community over Urbana at halftime, 27-19. From Normal Community High School in Normal, Illinois, Clutch Sports Media proud to present continuing coverage of the 2021 Big 12 Boys Basketball Tournament. I'm Joey Wright alongside John Camosa and our entire team. And John, it is a 27-19 lead for Normal Community here out of the halftime break. We were a little bit off on the scoring statistics we gave you for the first half. Jermail Young leads all scorers with 12 points, not 8 points for Urbana. Still 9 points for Zach Cleveland. Every other total we had was correct, except that one. But Jermail Young and the Tigers, not quite enough for Normal Community here early on. It's been Zach Cleveland with 9 points. It's been Justin Potts with another 6 points, 4 points from Trey Red. On down the list it goes. They're playing good basketball, good team basketball. They've weathered some bumps in the road, and the Iron, they can build on an 8-point lead here entering the second half.
Yeah, I think Jermail Young's going to want to add to that scoring total. They're going to need even more production out of him to keep it close in this one. He's kind of their do-it-all player, as we mentioned last night against Danville. Points, assists, rebounds, blocks.
Tigers the first possession of the third quarter. 3 falls short of the mark. Normal Community will take over. Normal Community entering this one 6-4 in Big 12 play, the number 3 overall seed in this 11-team tournament. The Tigers 1-10 overall on the year, but that one win coming against Danville last night. That was a 64-63 win, and that's why the Tigers are in front of us right now, peaking at the right time. Urbana thinks so, and so does Normal Community.
Certainly do. And big 3 on the way there for Normal Community.
Robert Brent has his first points of the evening on that 3 right there. Peaking at the right time. Well, Robert Brent doing that, getting on the board. Jermail Young off the mark for the Tigers, and the Ironmen will run it. Back to Brent. Second possession of the half. Down low is Dwinall, and Dwinall lost it out of bounds. Lead right now for Normal Community, John, is 11. And if you're just joining us here for the second half, that is what their largest lead is. They led by 11 at one point there in the first half. Tigers were able to chip into that. What did they do to chip into that here?
Yeah, like I said, you're going to have you're going to need some other production outside of just Young. And it is tough to score on this defense. They're limiting a lot of looks inside. But there it is, another jinx.
Tigers created a look inside, though. You were right that Gideon Kapongo didn't have a lot for the Tigers, but he's able to score his first points of the evening. Kapongo, the sophomore guard. Brent kicks to Cleveland, and Cleveland a nice find. Back to Cleveland, pardon me, that was Dwinall for Normal Community, and Brent and Red will slow the offense down a bit. Down low is Cleveland. Cleveland stepping back, a nice move from a player that will play at a very high level for many years to come, Zach Cleveland.
Such a long, athletic player too, Joey, and really hard to stop him when he gets posted up down low.
Cleveland with his first points of the half there. He's into double digits with 11. Jermontre Young working it for the Tigers. Guarded by Brent. Brent tipped the pass, but it's Hamilton recovering it for the Tigers. Tipped back by Normal Community, so Urbana will work it into the offensive zone again, no problem. Jermontre Young 3 on the way. Off. Rebound Morris. Morris goes up, and he'll try to complete the old-fashioned 3. And 1 for Malcolm Morris.
Good take inside and utilize their bigs with Morris and Hamilton in this third quarter. Chance to kind of combat what Normal Community's throwing at them with their bigs inside.
Morris completes the three-point play. We've talked a lot about Malcolm Morris, a freshman that is going to be a big part of this Urbana roster for years to come. Haven't talked about his height. You can see it on your screen, but he is 6'6", just an inch shorter than Jeremiah Hamilton, tallest player on the Tigers roster. Down low is Cleveland, and there's Hamilton who is blocked.
Talked about Jeremiah Hamilton's shot blocking abilities this season. You see it right there on Tyler Dwinall.
Out of bounds off of Hamilton. Brent tries to avenge the block with a 3. It's Hamilton the rebound. So Jeremiah Hamilton, a very productive couple of seconds down low. Inside goes Jermontre Young. Contact and a blocking foul. And they'll call that on the shot. So 2 free throws coming up for Jermontre Young, who has 3 points to this point in the game.
2 free throws, number 10, Jermontre Young.
And Urbana's, not going away. Normal Community, like we said, very strong in that second quarter, but Urbana Tigers were right back in it.
They certainly are. Young has the first free throw, and John will take a step back to the first time these two teams played. Second free throw off. That was on February 13th. Normal Community defeated Urbana 53-33, but in talking with Dave Witzig before this one, that game played a little bit closer than the 20-point final outcome. Tigers were right there at halftime. Ultimately, didn't have a great second half, and Normal Community had what Dave Witzig called their best quarter of the year in that fourth quarter.
Kind of an ill-advised shot there from Young on the other end. Pulled the trigger a little quick. Verdell Jones might have wanted to play for something a little better there.
7-point game, 3 on the way could have changed that. But Red couldn't drop it down, and now it's number 10 for Urbana. Young, and Jermontre Young has stepped up and hit a couple of clutch shots. Makes it a 5-point game. Tigers hanging around, as you just said.
Yeah, we said they needed a little production outside of just Young, and got 3 or 4 other guys getting after it.
Young now with 7 points. Cleveland kicking, 3 on the way for Normal Community. Off, tipped around. And a loose ball hauled in by Morris. Morris off to Jermel Young. Young attacking, driving, not quite scoring, but a rebound for Hamilton. A jump ball, and that arrow will favor the Ironmen.
Jump ball.
That'll take us to our masked timeout, so John will have you break down that sequence in just a second, but first, we'll take this break to remind you that tonight's coverage is brought to you by Uftring Nissan on Allen Road in Peoria. Test drive the latest exciting Nissan products, including the all-new 2021 Rogue and Sentra. Plus, save time and buy your car 100% online. Visit UftringNissan.net today. Tonight's coverage also brought to you by Uftring Weston Chevy Cadillac in Peoria, from the iconic Silverado and Blazer to the luxurious Cadillac XT4 and Escalade. Uftring Weston offers world-class sales and service right here in Peoria. Visit UfteringWeston.com today. And by Jaguar Land Rover Peoria on Allen Road. Take advantage of courtesy car specials and drive home a Jaguar or Land Rover for less than you might think. That is Jaguar Land Rover Peoria.com. Joey Wright, John Camosa, and the entire CSM team back in with you. Now, John, it's a 5-point game, and the Tigers were down by 11 a moment ago. They were down by 8 at the halftime break, but we've seen this game ebb and flow. Normal Community will go on a little run. Urbana will go on a little run. It's Normal with a good enough lead to where Urbana hasn't been able to chip quite past this point.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of hanging around, staying in there. Ultimately had a chance just there to score, but resulted in a jump ball. But you got to like what the Tigers are doing, attacking the basket.
Foul there on the inbound. Verdell Jones not quite happy with the call, you could say. A little less than thrilled. Cleveland will bring it up for the Ironmen. And a 3 on the way, off the mark from Cleveland. So here's the Urbana offense, trailing by 5. Attacking is Young again. Jermel Young couldn't get that to go, but John, that's kind of what Urbana wants to get back to.
Yep, certainly do.
Out of bounds. The entire Tigers team says they have it, and they do. So they keep creating opportunities, and now we'll flip the script a little bit. What does Normal Community do, maybe defensively or maybe on offensive, on the offensive attack, that is, to quell this Tigers run?
Jermel Young's had a couple tough ones that haven't hauled, but if you're Normal Community, you got to try to step over and guard those. He's kind of getting to the basket at will.
Young stepping back for the Tigers, Jermontre Young, that is. Closest Ironman defender to him is Jackson Jones. Spinning is Young, stepping back is Young. Didn't have that one. Cleveland, easy rebound. It's Trey Red to Zach Cleveland. Cleveland tries to create a little bit. Created a nice look for That would have been Perry, and Perry was off, as was Red. And a foul on the floor there. The Tigers called for the infraction. Quick look at the foul column, John. That'll be the second foul of the half against Urbana. That matches the foul output for Normal Community.
That physicality's picking up here in the third quarter. Both teams don't want to see their season come to an end tonight.
Quick inbound and a quick score, Zach Cleveland. Who else? Cleveland having a wonderful evening. Now up to 13 points. Tigers trying to respond. Morris is guarded by Cleveland. That's been a fun matchup to watch in the second half. He turns around, didn't have that one. Got his own rebound, takes it up strong, and he will be rewarded with 2 free throws.
Free throws are going to be crucial here late in the game. See if Urbana can knock him down at the line.
Urbana has converted on 3 freebies to this point. Morris misses the first. Now 1 of 2 here in the second half. Second on the way, and he got that one to go. Morris is now up to 6 points. Offensively, Ironmen a little bit cold here as of late, although Zach Cleveland had a nice basket on their last possession. Out of bounds, it was kicked and last touched by the Tigers. So starting the second half, this possession up will be Trey Red. Red inbounds. That was tipped by Hamilton into the NCHS bench it goes. And that'll stay home with Normal. It has been a quick moving game, not a lot of fouls called. See at the bottom of your screen, we are just north of 2 minutes left to play in the third. 6-point game, and Normal Community has not surrendered the lead since taking it relatively early in the game in the first quarter, second half of the first quarter, but that was a frame in which they led at the end, 14-9. A couple of similar looking plays here, John, as Urbana keeps forcing it out of bounds or fouling or stuff to disrupt this possession.
In a game that might feel like Normal Community's kind of scored and taken big leads, it's a lot closer than you would expect.
It's a 6-point game. Tigers could cut it to 3 with a 3. Kapongo won't take it. He'll float one up. That's off, but another offensive rebound from Morris. Jermel Young is missing on a 3 right there, and a foul on the floor. And that'll be a foul against Normal Community, I think. It is.
Another big break there for the Tigers.
Tigers wanted that 3 there, John. They kind of went for that spark play. You can tell they want that big play.
Yeah.
They need to see that one go down.
Well, I mean, look at their bench, too. Everyone's on their feet.
3 on the way
And
from
that one will get them fired up.
And 1. Count the basket. See if they call that a 2 or a 3. Couldn't quite see that from our vantage point.
I believe it was
It was a deep 2, if not a 3, and they will call it a 3 and 1.
Chance for a 4-point play. But you talk about sparking that bench, and look at that.
Right on cue. It's Gideon Kapongo. Kapongo scored a basket in the first half. Free throw on the way, and count that one. So takes his total from 2 to 6, just like that. And it's a 2-point game just like that.
And look at that defensive pressure. Yeah.
You go ahead.
No, I said look at that defensive pressure. I think now that they've cut it to 2, they really feel like they're in control of this ballgame with this momentum.
Feels closer than it's been in a while, and that's because it is. Normal Community trying to get back in the scoring column at Zach Cleveland down low, and that is as high a percentage look as they come. Cleveland didn't really have a lot of opposition. I think Young was on him, but he got that to go with relative ease. Jermontre Young calls out the signals for the Tigers.
And Joey, they really haven't had an answer for Cleveland. I mean, even when they're scoring, coming back down, Cleveland's kind of scoring at will. So something late in the game that they're going to have to try to limit his touches somehow.
And that is a carry there on Urbana. I was just looking down to look at Cleveland and in his total now. He's up to 15 on the night. And that sets Normal Community up well here, John. And they can close the third quarter with a basket here, although we've seen them attack. Although it looks like now that they will hold at least relatively late into this last 20 seconds. It's Jones. Jones now goes up top to Red. Trey Red driving in, down low, spinning around. And a foul called with 3.7 left. It's Peyton Weimer who had a good opportunity. What's the quick play call here for the Ironmen?
I think they might try to work something down low to Cleveland. Don't necessarily have to throw a little lob pass. Still has plenty of time to corral it, but see if they can get him a look.
Inbounded to Brent. Now Brent goes back to Red. At the buzzer is short, and a foul not called there at the buzzer. Normal Community wanted that whistle. They didn't get it, and that's how the third quarter will end, 36-32. And John, I think Normal Community caught a break right there. We'll recap that in just a moment. First, we have to tell you that our coverage tonight is brought to you by Uftring Nissan on Allen Road in Peoria. Test drive the latest exciting Nissan products, including the all-new 2021 Rogue and Sentra. Plus, save time and buy your car 100% online. Visit UftringNissan.net today. Also by Weston Chevy Cadillac in Peoria, from the iconic Silverado and Blazer to the luxurious Cadillac XT4 and Escalade. Uftring Weston offers world-class sales and service right here in Peoria. Visit UfteringWeston.com today. And by Jaguar Land Rover Peoria on Allen Road in Peoria. Take advantage of courtesy car specials and drive home a Jaguar or Land Rover for less than you might think. Jaguar Land Rover Peoria.com. John, back to that last play of the third quarter. There was contact there. You know, I'm not one to criticize the officials, but I think Normal Community may have had a case there for a call that didn't go their way.
Yeah, and they certainly wanted it. All the coaches were pretty fired up about that. And Joe, yeah, you don't want to go against the officials. They ultimately know the call, but looked like they could have got away with a foul there.
It certainly did. That's tough to call late in the quarter. There's a lot you're looking for those last 3-4 seconds, and everything happened so quickly. The buzzer sounded, so who knows if maybe the buzzer, didn't go off before all that contact.
Yeah.
Have to look at it back. But in any case, you're Urbana. You're down by 4, but you've got to like how that third quarter kind of closed, the last 4 minutes.
So big fourth quarter coming up. Joey, we've seen two really, really good games in these quarterfinal matchups, and this one certainly looking to be a good one as well. Good finish, I should say.
Gideon Kapongo starts off with the ball for Urbana. Now hands off to Young, and John, I agree. Young wants a three. Ooh. In and out, almost fell. And
just couldn't get the roll.
It's as close as they come. It was down and then it was out. Brent with possession from Normal Community, now back to Red. Going down low to Cleveland. And Cleveland, once he caught the ball, difficult to stop, but Jermel Young nearly intercepted that, but a good pass down low to Cleveland.
I was going to say, it looked like they almost had him outside a little bit and contained, but then he just rolls right by it. Been doing that a lot tonight.
Lead back up to 6. John, it may sound obvious, but this game's really been a tale of two modes. Urbana has their runs, and when they're clicking, everything seems to be going well. They've done that a couple times tonight. Normal Community has increased the lead a couple times tonight as well. That three won't serve that purpose. Kapongo the rebound. And quickly moving it up is Young. Young is fouled hard, and he hits the floor. You see they're a little slow to get up, but Morris and Hamilton there to help him up.
And that swat there from Cleveland, shades of his sister, All-American at Purdue, volleyball player.
That's right, 6'4", great up top of the net. I called that a foul. That was a clean block. A lot was going on there, but what a play that was from Cleveland indeed. And yeah, his sister is a third-team All-American, if I'm correct.
I believe so.
Some sort of All-American recognition there. And a travel there from Morris down low.
Turnovers are going to be costly anytime you're late in the game, and you're Urbana, you certainly want to limit that, being down 6.
We talked last night, John. It was it was the Centennial Normal West game. We remarked early that those little turnovers, those little mistakes would prove costly. Ultimately, they did wind up costing Normal West late in that one. Nothing will cost Tyler Dwinall that basket, though. Dwinall a nice bucket. He's up to 5 on the evening, and the lead is back to that 8-point range. But Jermail Young quick to say, we want it back. 6-point game.
Back and forth, and it's a bucket and answer that Urbana needed. Now it's going to come down to defense.
Cleveland tried to initiate the offense. There was a foul. Will go against Urbana, and that'll be the Tigers' 4th foul of the half. Go ahead.
See Peyton Weimer being tended to over there, her ankle. I didn't really see what play he got injured on.
Weimer has been a big part of the offense in big minutes off the bench for Normal Community. And Zach Cleveland, who else? He is putting on a show tonight.
Kind of found his spot inside and really hasn't had an answer for him, and kind of doing whatever he can down there.
Completes the 3-point play, his 2nd free throw on 3 attempts this evening. And Zach Cleveland, we talked about him at the top of the show. Well, we've talked about him throughout the game, of course, but mentioned right from the jump, interest from a lot of prestigious mid-major universities, and he's starting to get those high major looks and really some big-time schools on that list. He's only a junior, and you've got to figure that by the time everything's all said and done for Cleveland, I mean, he could be playing basketball at a very high level in a very big role for a lot of years to come.
Yeah, he certainly could.
Jermail Young hit the floor for the Tigers. Jeremiah Hamilton was there to help him up, and Cleveland did not need any help to get up there. But Jermail Young a little battered up for the Tigers, and there will be an injury timeout as Young heads to the bench, and he does appear to be in some degree of pain.
And we've seen those two hook up quite a bit this season. Had he thrown it a little bit earlier, Cleveland might have had the dunk on that one.
We pause for the injury here. I don't believe this will serve as our masked timeout. It is a called timeout. The Normal Community took it. So we'll keep it right here with you.
Full timeout, Urbana.
Urbana takes the timeout, but functionally serves the same purpose. And Normal Community, we'll talk about the Ironmen. 6-4, entering this one in Big 12 play, the 3 seed in the tournament. Dave Witzig won his 9th regional title last season, a 23-11 season. He's in his 22nd season overall. We had the chance to talk with him before the game, and that conversation, John, lasted, what would you say, 10 minutes?
At least 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was a long conversation. Really appreciate the time, and just a good chat. Likes where he's at, likes the memories the team has created this season. You know, just kind of everything about this season has sort of worked out for Normal Community, and you want a state series, you kind of want that aspect of it, but they will end, could be tonight, could be later on in the Big 12 tournament, and they will be just happy with how the season went.
Yeah, I agree.
They will be just content. Dave Witzig, as we mentioned, his 22nd season. Have a couple of scores from the Mid-Illini Conference this evening. The boys basketball tournament, top seed Washington, perhaps a predictable 81-32 win over Dunlap. Dunlap playing a little short-handed tonight. Metamora, a 61-43 win over Limestone. Rockets kept that one close, as did the East Peoria Raiders with the Morton Potters, but it's a 43-39 win for Morton. And Canton went on the road, and they defeated East Peoria, that was 45-39. Morton beat Pekin 43-31. Canton, the only road team to win tonight. Those finals courtesy of Kurt Pegler. We will be back with the Mid-Illini Conference tomorrow and Saturday. Excited to see how all that plays out. Tigers a foul there. And John, you know, what are we expecting to see here from Normal Community? They're ahead by 11.
I think they're going to keep going inside to Cleveland, keep doing the same thing they've been doing. It's been working. And if you're Urbana, it's kind of desperation mode now. You got to start scoring, and you got to score quick.
Have to score quick indeed. And a quick word now from tonight's sponsor, Uftering. Uftering Nissan on Allen Road in Peoria. Test drive the latest exciting Nissan products. including the all-new 2021 Rogue and Sentra. Plus, save time and buy your car 100% online. Visit UfteringNissan.net today. By Uftering Weston Chevy Cadillac in Peoria, from the iconic Silverado and Blazer to the luxurious Cadillac XT4 and Escalade, Uftering Weston offers world-class sales and service right here in Peoria. Visit UfteringWeston.com today. And by Jaguar Land Rover Peoria on Allen Road. Take advantage of courtesy car specials and drive home a Jaguar or Land Rover for less than you might think. Jaguar Land Rover Peoria.com. And John, not to get too sidetracked, of course, a good one to get back to here, but bought my car at Uftering Nissan, and we talked about the same thing last night. A little fender bender a couple of weeks ago. Folks at Uftering Weston currently tending to that. It's been a very easy process there. It was a great car buying experience at Uftering Nissan. Glad to have Uftering aboard, not only tonight, but throughout the season and throughout the rest of the season to come.
Good sponsor to have on your side.
Absolutely. Working down low to Cleveland is Normal Community, and that'll be an Urbana foul.
And there you go, inside to Cleveland again. And Joey, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Why would you? Cleveland, we'll tally up his point total here in a minute. Not to beat a dead horse, but he has a significant amount of points. At the line, a 1-and-1 opportunity here. That was the 7th foul for the Tigers. And the first one falls.
You know, we only have point total, so we haven't even really gotten a look at his rebounds.
That's right.
But, you know, I want to figure he's got a double-double or close to.
I would think he has been a presence down low all night long. And we talk a lot about Cleveland, but that is not to overlook the efforts of Tyler Dwinall, who has not lit up the scoring column quite like Cleveland has, but he's had a great game as well. And Jermontre Young can't quite drop that one in off the glass. And our scoring totals are unofficial. We'll have the full figures for you on social media after the game, but we figure we're pretty close, if not exact, on our estimates. And there's Cleveland again.
Too big inside tonight.
It's the Cleveland show, right? He is a force on those boards, offensively and defensively. 3 on the way. That is short from Jermel Young. And now it's kind of started to tilt towards the Ironmen. 15-point lead, the largest lead of the evening.
Yeah, they're really clicking on all cylinders, and Urbana would have to score and score in bunches.
It's going to have to start with a defensive stand here shortly. Jermontre Young was there on Cleveland, but could not quite get there in time. It's Justin Potts. Now over to Crofton Perry. Back to Potts. And Potts fouled, so that'll send him to the line in the 1-and-1. With a win, Normal Community advances on the year to 7-4 in the Big 12. Urbana would finish at 1-11 overall. And the first free throw in the bonus falls from Potts. And our conversation with Verdell Jones before this one, John, you know, he told us a lot of his players, they kind of know they've not met their expectations this season, but a big thing for the Tigers has been focus on getting better every day, on the floor, off the floor. He said, you know, it's hard for humans to look themselves in the mirror every day and force themselves to get better and challenge themselves. It's human nature. Everyone wants to, you know, give themselves credit where they can, but that's kind of been the mantra for the Tigers this season, and they have improved, certainly on the basketball floor. Got their first win of the season yesterday in a big way against Danville. And a young team that we would expect to continue to improve next year. Of course, they're coming off 2 regional championships, so the Tigers' hope is that this year, kind of an anomaly, and they're back to their winning ways next season.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you learn a lot from this abbreviated season. You kind of pick up on some games, some close games that you had, and learn from that going into next year. There's a lot of things you can take away and build on, especially for those younger players who are going to be around next year.
Inside is Red. Red couldn't get that, but another offensive rebound from Dwinall, and it's Cleveland now. And a young program for the Tigers. They've had a very good program at the middle school level last couple of years, and that's been a good pipeline for them. They've been able to reload and keep chasing those regional titles, 2 in a row. The first of those 2 regional titles was the Tigers' first since 1989. been a renaissance for the Tigers, and there's a nice dunk from Cleveland, who continues to rise to the occasion, does that quite literally right there.
They're raising the roof on the bench.
Tremontre Young for the Tigers, short. And John, despite a great effort from the Tigers, it looks as though Normal Community's in the driver's seat right now.
Yeah, I think they got this one all but wrapped up, Joey, and you know, just can't say enough about Cleveland. It's really shown out tonight.
Cleveland rocks, as Larry Larson says, just off to my left. Good song. And quite true here this evening. John, this game is functionally played out kind of like the first time these two teams played back on February 13th. Good first half for the Tigers. Normal Community just mounted quite the charge in the second half, and the fourth quarter especially that keyed them to a 20-point win that night. Tigers hung around for a good part of this game, but just didn't have quite enough.
No, and they didn't. Will be the last game for Jamil Young as a senior, and definitely went out as a really good player for this Urbana squad for these last 4 years.
Certainly did, and Jeremiah Hamilton as well, and the Tigers' other seniors, who are Deshaun Sanders and Sheldon Turner. Should mention their names. And John, of course, you know, I think a lot of our viewers may know this. I'm an alum of Urbana High School, class of 2018, so walked the same halls as these guys did at the same time. And these guys, you know, Young and Hamilton played big roles on those regional teams, even coming in as freshmen, sophomores, and, you know, really helped turn this program around. Young has a free throw. Jermel Young does there. Unofficially, want to say that is his 13th or 13th point that would be of the evening, but we'll, of course, have the correct figure for you on social media following the game. And my brother's still a senior at Urbana High School, so, you know, he's a classmate of Young and Hamilton. Great young men by all accounts.
Oh, definitely. Verdell Jones done a great job of really helping them become basketball players, but also getting them prepared for life outside of high school.
That's right, and that has been, you know, in talking with Verdell Jones over the years, he took over the Urbana job when I was a junior, so that would have been the 2016-17 year. But I always talk to him before games or after games, and, you know, you ask him basketball-related questions, always ties him back into life off the floor, you know, kind of character answers, and that's a big thing for Verdell Jones in this Tigers program, and a lot of programs too. Not, you know, Dave Witzig, I'm sure, is much the same way, building, you know, strong futures and things of that nature off the floor. And that has certainly been a big measure of success for Urbana. And of course, the Tigers graduated 2 Division I players last year, Bryson Tatum and Chris Cross.
Yep.
Deep three on the way, and that was a really deep three from Deshaun Sanders, a senior fresh into the game. Devin Miller is also playing. We have a couple of players playing in their first minutes of the game. Jackson Osborne for Normal Community. Eli Benson as well. Benson goes over to Osborne, and Osborne wants a three off the mark, and the Tigers will run it.
Really nice pass there.
Sheldon Turner, the senior. That was a nice pass. Tigers lose it out of bounds, and, you know, I use my, you know, having went to Urbana and there pretty recently. I talk a lot about Urbana, but really enjoyed talking with Dave Witzig and Normal Community before the game. It's a great program. Witzig, as we said, in his 22nd season, has won 9 regional titles, has had a lot of success at the state level. 3 falls there. Count that one from Benson.
Bench players getting some production here late in the fourth quarter, and good chance to get a little experience here.
Absolutely. Filkins for Urbana loses it, but it was tipped back, so Sanders will push it ahead. Sanders driving, he's fouled, so 2 free throws coming up for Deshaun Sanders. Tick under 27 seconds left to play. I remember a couple of years ago, Normal Community, it was the 2014-15 season. Finished runner-up in the state of Illinois. Nice run through the state playoffs. Played locally at Redbird Arena. I was actually at that game, the super sectional game, Normal Community in Simeon that year, and you just got an idea for how much this city of Normal and the Normal community feels for their Ironmen. It was at Redbird Arena and filled up part of the lower bowl. It was a great atmosphere.
Certainly was. I remember that game pretty vividly.
Yeah. That was, and I blank on the stars that evening, but that was a great atmosphere, and anytime you can beat Simeon, you'll take it. No state series, of course, this season, but the Ironmen are going to factor in well to the Big 12 tournament conversation. 10 seconds left in the Tigers season, but the Ironmen will advance. We'll see if they get one more shot off. It's Jackson Osborne. Osborne guarded by Turner. The clock expires. The Ironmen move on. What a performance it was. Zach Cleveland and company advance to the semifinal round of the Big 12 Conference Boys Basketball Tournament. They have a date with Peoria High School tomorrow. And that'll be a really fun game.
Oh, yeah, it definitely will. And that's another team that's really clicking on all cylinders right now is Peoria High. And chance for the Lions emerging out of this as our only area team left as far as the Peoria area. So
that game will be back here at Normal Community, I believe right here at Normal Community High School tomorrow. It'll be in the Bloomington, and we'll pull up the bracket there. I want to make sure I get that correct for you. But that's going to be an interesting one, and we've seen that Peoria team a couple of times. That's a Peoria team that is clicking at the right time. That game will be at Normal West High School tomorrow evening. And the other game, of course, Champaign Centennial and Champaign Central. We want to talk about an interesting one to keep an eye on. Two crosstown rival schools that don't like each other very much. Keep an eye on that one tomorrow night. That game also at Normal West.
Yeah, there should be two really, really good games to close out the semifinal round and see what we can get out of those matchups, and looking forward to a good title game on Saturday.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Keep an eye on those games. And, again, we won't be on the scene tomorrow, but we're going to be keeping an eye on those. We will be back in the Mid-Illini Conference tomorrow night, but keep an eye on it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, John, as we wrap up not only this game, but a full packed triple header of basketball here at Normal Community this evening. We saw Centennial take down Peoria Notre Dame a couple of hours ago. We saw Champaign Central beat Peoria Manual just before this one tipped off. It's been a great evening here in Normal. A lot of great basketball. This is not the most lopsided, but the biggest margin of victory we've seen, but still a good game throughout. A great day of basketball at Normal Community.
Yeah, it certainly was. And, in this last game here, it's just like you said, the Cleveland show. Zach Cleveland really took over, and Normal Community, wanted to assert their dominance being at home, and they certainly looked primed and ready to go for the Peoria High matchup.
Unofficially, 24 points for Zach Cleveland, and you can see Centennial a big win over Notre Dame, and Champaign Central a big win over Manual. That's where we'll leave it for you tonight. Want to thank the entire staff here at Normal Community. Before we do sign off the air, Nick Kierfot, the athletic director here, has been a big help for us. He's accommodated us very well. It's been great being out here for 5 games over the last 2 nights. Big thank you to him, and, of course, a big thank you to all of the athletic directors, officials, scorekeepers, timers, everyone who's stepped in to make not only this tournament a big success, but this season a big success, as we are, believe it or not, John, just about 48 hours from closing this season down in Central Illinois.
Yeah, it's hard to believe it's over this quick. It seemed like it just started, and a lot of teams out here have had a good season in a shortened year with everything going on, and we'll see who can come out victorious in this Big 12 conference tournament.
It is between Champaign Central, Centennial, Normal Community, and Peoria High School. Going to be fun to keep an eye on all weekend long, and that's where we'll leave it for you tonight. Got a whole basketball roster of people to name here as we wrap this one up. I'm Joey Wright, John Camosa, my broadcast partner Larry Larson on our computer, Jonathan Michael and Francisco Alonso sharing our game camera and production duties this evening. Matt Harrington has been manning our social medias, and Josh Schwam back also manning our social medias in Peoria, Illinois. That crew graphic doesn't really do it justice. We've had a lot of people stepping in to make tonight a success. Again, I'm Joey Wright. Our final score, 56-37 Normal Community. This has been a presentation of Clutch Sports Media, and we thank you for watching.